Describe the woman that you're looking for, and then OpenAI will go and find her for you.
Welcome to the SMB Community Podcast with your hosts, Amy Babinchek, James Kernan, Amy Luby, and Karl Palachuk. Produced by and for the Small Biz Thoughts technology community. We're dedicated to making every IT professional a successful IT professional. This podcast is sponsored by the Small Biz Thoughts technology community. Check us out at smallbizthoughts.org. Forums, templates, and checklists are just the start. Our community includes all of the best-selling books on managed services in all available formats, plus free training, members-only programs, and the best business training available to managed service providers anywhere. Plus, we have weekly, live, members-only Zoom calls. The average member saves more than 200% of their membership cost each year. We are totally dedicated to your success. Just because you're in business for yourself doesn't mean you have to go it alone. Join us today at smallbizthoughts.org.
Welcome to the SMB Thoughts Community Podcast with Karl and me, Amy Babinchak. It is just the two of us today, but that's okay. We've got some really amazing stuff to talk about, again, around ChatGPT or OpenAI, really. Did you see that it's come to Bing?
So not ChatGPT, but their own AI. So
No.
Is it the same product, the same back end?
One and the same. I'm telling you, Microsoft owns OpenAI. Like that $13 billion investment.
I was confused. I knew that. For whatever reason, I was thinking about, because the marketing, or at least the advertising that I've seen is, it's time for Google to be nervous, right? So what is the story that if they're going to work it into Bing? So I have to use Bing to use it?
They have worked it into Bing. There's a waiting list. Of course, it's all the rage to have a waiting list for things now. And the really interesting thing is that Microsoft has taken the whole OpenAI project and integrated it into everything that Microsoft does, right? They added it to the Azure AI Cognitive Services suite so developers can access it and build it into their own stuff. And they added it into Bing, and what Bing is going to do with it is, at least the first iteration, which I saw, they have the traditional search in the center of the screen when you ask a question.
Right.
But then the right side of the screen is dedicated to how OpenAI responds to that. And that is, it writes you an answer and offers suggestions and, highlights things out of the search results. Think about this, right? When I first started with the internet, Lycos was and Alta Vista were my go-to search engines.
Lycos existed.
Lycos existed, yeah. I loved it. I never liked Yahoo. I was never a Yahoo person. But Lycos and Alta Vista were awesome. And then Yahoo came along and indexed websites into sort of a phone book, right? You had to browse through categories like you did in a phone book.
Right.
And then Google came along and said, well, we can just index it off of keywords. And we've been going on keywords all this time until now.
I will say Google's more than that, because what really separated Google was not keywords. It was the fact that they ranked pages with regard to authority. And I think that has really gone downhill in the last few years, because it's been spammed up by all kinds of other things. But their big thing was, if there's a search and everybody clicks on Amy's answer, that becomes the definitive answer, and it ranks higher and higher and higher in Google. So
right, it gets boosted up, but it's still about indexing the internet, right, off of keywords. That's the basis of what they do, and then they just built a whole ecosystem off of that. OpenAI comes along and says, We have the computing power. We no longer have to index it. We're just going to read the entire internet and ingest the whole thing, right? We have that much computing power these days. And so it ingests it and spits it back out in ways that you can see, and it comes from a bunch of different websites, not just from the one you clicked on. So, and then then the awesome thing about the technology is it will offer you suggestions based on what it knows, and it references where it got the information from and suggest other searches for you. And do you want to see this? Do you want to see that? Are you interested? Would you like me to write a recipe for that? Would you
Right.
all these different things, like, would you like me to make your airline reservation? All this
Aha.
stuff.
Aha. See, now we're getting
Ah,
somewhere.
the marketing angle is coming in. Yeah. But so there's all this stuff, like, we no longer have to just view the internet by a series of keywords and what SEO professionals stick into it. We have the power to just ingest the whole thing.
Part of what Google has done for a long time,
Mm.
they have that information square over to the right that basically what they try to do is keep you on their page as long as possible, right? I mean,
Yeah.
ultimately that's how you serve ads is people have to be on your site versus somebody else's site. So if you do a search, they try to
Mm.
give you the answer. So it's just over to the right. And then almost everything you click on is another one of their pages serving up more and more detailed information. And so people never leave the site. They think they're browsing the internet, and they're really browsing Google's advertisers, right?
Yeah.
Because after the first click, you are no longer in I guess, an organic search environment. You are in a sold environment. So it sounds like uh, it is time for them to be disrupted, and Bing might actually become useful.
Well, I've always loved Bing, but I do bleed blue. I have to admit that. But here's the thing: there's a New York Times article yesterday, actually. And it's all about, the new Bing announcement, yada, 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 right? Microsoft did an amazing job pushing it out to the whole world. But the guy that's writing this, I have to just read it to you. After I turn in this column, I'm going to do something I thought I'd never do. I'm switching my desktop computer's default search engine to Bing. And Google, my default source of information for my entire adult life, is going to have to fight to get me back.
Wow. That's
That's
a hell of an endorsement.
that is how big this is. And now you know why Google called a code red when they got the intel on what Microsoft was doing. Google sent out the code red and called in the founders to come in and sit down with all the important brains and say, what are we going to do now? And they quickly came out with their own AI called Bard. But is it as good as what OpenAI has come up with? I don't know. And OpenAI certainly has the jump on them.
Well, and I know that they've been working on this. Everybody's been working on AI for a long time. I mean, Watson is. What's funny is Watson is probably the oldest, but it's been sold only to really big companies with a ridiculous amount of money. So integrating it into your daily life has not been a thing. I do have to say, so as somebody who has tried Bing again and again and again, I try every year for whatever, 10 years. I'm always disappointed primarily because it always seems to think I'm trying to buy something. Like literally, like, are you looking for reservations? Are you looking to buy a new cover for your iPad or whatever? It's because I searched for an iPad. And so to me, it has not been as good as Google. And I do not get the same results. I hear people say, oh, I get the same results on both. I'm like, I'm not sure what you're looking for, but I go often to the internet to find answers or to find interesting information about a topic. And that's very different from shopping. I rarely, like if I'm shopping, I literally go to Amazon, right? Or if there's some reason to go somewhere else, I go somewhere else. But if I don't type in Macy's or type in Amazon, I'm probably just looking for information, not looking to be sold. And so anyway, But I keep trying it, and I keep wanting it to be better because, I have for many years of my life been, Microsoft is my first thing I'm going to try, and then, for me, if it's not as good as something else, I'll go somewhere else pretty quickly. So I'm ready for it to be amazing, and we shall see. I do have to say that a lot of the stuff that we've heard about OpenAI, because it's based on the test data that we talked about last time, it's sort of beginning with just enough to get people addicted. And so I think that whether that was just the advancement of technology in a technology company, or whether that was a genius marketing strategy, it really did get a bunch of people addicted to OpenAI. And now, when it's just like another box on Bing, they may actually start using it, and it may be exactly that, a great marketing strategy is the way they rolled it out, because it came out pretty quickly. It's basically a 2023 phenomenon.
Microsoft isn't using the test data, right? They won't say exactly which version that they're on, but it's widely thought that it's 3.5 or 4 or something like that. So it's, 500 times more data, and it is up to the minute current. And it's amazing how much data that actually must be. I don't even know. Um, but to watch how fast Microsoft is moving, which is Microsoft is not a fast moving company.
Right.
They're the company that sees a new technology, looks at the new technology, sees what other people are doing with the new technology, and then improves upon it. That's typically how they work. They're the leader on this one. But what they're doing with it is just integrating it into everything that they have. So it's coming into Office. They've developed a couple of new apps for it, so you can access it directly, but it's just becoming part of Bing, part of Word, part of PowerPoint, right? It's just
Right.
part of everything.
Well, what
And
I think is interesting about the Chat GPT piece of it, which is the visible piece on the Bing homepage, is that it is a place where human beings can see how AI might actually be useful in their lives. Most of what Microsoft is actually going to do will not be visible to people. It will be just things going on behind the scenes in Excel, Word, PowerPoint, and so forth. And they've dabbled in this. You and I both have worked on the same PowerPoint, and you add a graphic, and over to the right it says, hey, here's 7 different designs. Do you want to use one of these? That is the beginning of something that they will now take to a very next level.
right. And I mean, who knew? I didn't know. Somebody obviously knew, who's a lot smarter than I am, that the world was clamoring for better internet search. I mean, I think that's what we can say, that as soon as the open AI became public, millions of people flocked to it, and it became all the rage. And I don't think it's just a flash in the pan thing. I mean, I think this is something that people actually did want, and it's amazing to me that just when you always are thinking like, oh, technology is here and we're in a stable place and it will just iterate from this point on. And then here comes something that just smashes the norm and creates something new. And um, somehow they were the people that knew that internet search needed to be a lot better than it has been.
This is Karl, and I am joined by an old friend, Sam Saab, who I would say is the once and future king of results software.
You're very kind, Karl. So good to see you again and be with you today.
Very good. Well, so a lot of people will remember you from Results Software, and I think you sold it. You sold it off at some point.
2017.
You had built Results into being an award-winning QuickBooks, I guess a plugin, is that what it is, or add-on?
It's an integrated ability to integrate with both QuickBooks Desktop and QuickBooks online was the integration, but we continue to have our own ability to do invoicing within the system, and the ability there was to exchange data without double data entry. So it's an integrated solution as compared to a plugin.
So tell us the story about, the short version, but what happened with the selling and then, you developed some new products, and then you're now developing, I guess you have a development platform, and now Results is on that platform. And give me that in your words.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that. It's kind of an interesting story, and we never expected it to turn that way. In 2017, after my wife and I had built and ran Results software, which was also known as Results CRM and Results Business, because we ran both sides of the world, we in 2017 decided to sell the company as a growth strategy. We were at that time still a desktop-based product, enterprise-based product. This small business market had switched into a cloud-based, and we needed rapid development to rebuild the product from the ground up. And so we partnered with an entity called Abacus Next at that time, and they brought in significant number of resources, and we wanted to leverage that resource to build the online version and the cloud-based version of Results and take it to the market. So 2017, we sold the company, worked with the company for 2 years as part of the transition. Unfortunately, by 2018, their business plans have changed, and they had acquired additional products at that time, and they decided to switch focus to the other products that they have brought in. And so our partnerships ended at late 2018. In early 2019, I wanted to decide what to do at that time, to retire, except that I love what I do, so I wasn't ready to retire. So I knew that our clients could still use our services, so we decided to attempt to purchase the company back in early 2019. We made 2 serious attempts at purchasing the company back, and that did not materialize. Let's put it that way. I had a 5-year non-compete, Karl, and so, as you know, I abide by the the agreement, and wanted to do the right thing from basically living within that non-compete. So to basically be able to operate, I had to move overseas. So we started a company called DoMore in Dubai in early 2019. And we leveraged that to build a brand new product, similar in design or in functionality to the Results product, but intentionally it was built from the ground up differently, different database structure, different tools. And the idea there is that we would not be leveraging or using any of the technology from the old product in the new product, but built a better version of what Results could have been had we had the opportunity with Abacus to build a new product based on the Results design and philosophy. So that's what we built, a product called DoMore.
And so DoMore is one product, and
Yep.
And it's, am I right that it's a software like development tool or development base?
Actually, close. It's a platform. So it's a really kind of a Lego pieces of all reusable modules like document management, proposals, estimates, invoicing, time billing, a CRM, of course. So the idea there is that it's really an end-to-end business solution built as a platform to basically be able to reuse it and build from it multiple solutions based on industry OEM tools for industries that are missing pieces that we have, and or a direct vertical that we can go to a vertical that we have a customer wanting us to build a product for them. We will leverage that platform to build that end-to-end solution for them based on the modules they needed from DoMore.
So it sounds like you're going after Intuit and you want to eat QuickBooks.
Actually, the opposite. We thought Intuit would basically be able to leverage DoMore because it had the international integration with every version of QuickBooks internationally, as well as the USA, QuickBooks Online and desktop bidirectional, which is a big deal because nobody else does that in the US. Even the ones that integrate with QuickBooks are limited to the QuickBooks market. But if you want to play globally, and they do, then because we were a global company, we had to integrate with every version. We decided to integrate with every version of QuickBooks. We didn't have to go out that much, but we're perfectionists and we did it by the book.
Of course. So we're almost out of time, but is there a story on Results for the SMB market?
So actually, absolutely. And so this is an opportunity. As you know, 2019, we tried to buy it. We did not. They said no. The non-compete finished in early 2022, in February 2022. So we brought the Do More product and the platform to the US market. We had a launch in June of 2022 and brought in master partners to carry the product in the US. Abacus realized that we're back and we're out of the non-compete. So they approached us and wondered whether we're still interested in buying results. And we jumped on the opportunity to do that. The deal just closed in January, even though it was effective January 1st, just actually closed last week. And here's the bottom line, you know, sometimes things happen for a reason. And the reality is that we're going to take the Do More platform and technology and are shipping it right now as Results 2023. So effectively, we're coming into the Results customer base, and we're offering them an upgrade path to a cloud-based solution based on the full technology of the Do More. So the Do More company will continue to operate as a global company with its platform, but Results Software became one of its customers using that technology and that platform to deliver strong value to customers that have, for the last 5 years, not been well served because they didn't have an upgrade path. Abacus never developed the next version of Results after we had separated in 2018. So we're back in the market right now with running a software company, which is Results Software, with its own new product. And we would love to be part of the IT community again, like we had when we started. And actually, that's really what gave us all the strength. You know, SMB Nation and all the entities, including yourself and others, Harry and many others that have met through that world. That ecosystem continues to exist. It was wonderful to see everyone in August in Chicago. And so the point is that we're going to bring Results back to that community through the partner channel. And it will be available to anyone wanting to do CRM, business management, or field service management as an end-to-end solution integrated with QuickBooks and other products.
So give us the websites, and then we'll go ahead and put them in the links below, and everybody can check out both Do More and Results.
Fantastic. So the Do More company is at domore.ae. That's for the United Emirates. And then for the Results, it would be results-software.com, or for people that know us as the CRM of the world, resultscrm.com is also, will get you, that domain will also get you to the same website.
Very good. Well, thank you for your time, and I look forward to seeing all the new products.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for the opportunity to talk to you and catching up, Karl. Really great.
You know, I run 30 websites, and invariably Google is between 90 and 99% of all the search engines that result in traffic to my websites. And that's a very common number. But when I go to search for something, especially when I want an answer to a question, the most frustrating thing for me is that the first 100 links are some community where somebody has posted a question, and then 95 people have said, oh, I'm having the exact same problem, and then how about you? Has anybody fixed this yet? And you look and you realize this thread is 2 years old. Everybody has this problem. By now, someone has figured out the fix. Can we put the fix at the top instead of putting, because what happens, again, the way that Google has traditionally worked is that if everybody clicks on the first thing, then it gets more and more authority, quote unquote, and it becomes the one thing that becomes the answer to everybody's question, even if they immediately go, crap, it's one of those stupid community things, and then they go back and look for the actual answer.
Right.
With luck, Bing plus AI will get rid of that, although it's very frequently a problem on Microsoft's own site with Microsoft's own technology.
Well, here's something to think about. If the search results, right, the first iteration of this is traditional search in the center of the page, AI search on the side of the page. I don't expect that that's going to be the thing very long. The AI search will become the main thing, right?
Right.
when that happens, your SEO goes out the window. Your clickable links, where did they go? Like so much revenue for so many people is dependent on how many clicks did the link get? How many visits did the site get? How's my SEO ranking on the thing? Like, I'm sure stuff will be developed to make that happen somehow in the OpenAI, that it will reference your material as opposed to somebody else's. But how does that happen? And what does that transition look like? And I think that's what caused Google to call the code red, because all of their income is based on you clicking on a link.
Right. Well, I
There's
will
no,
tell you, one of the things that Google has tried again and again and again is to take other people's information and build it into their own systems and not pay the authors for their information. It's sort of their business model. They are frequently sued from time to time about things like they had offered to many libraries, hey, we'll digitize everything in your library. Well, what they were doing is creating illegal copies of books that they were then redistributing without a license, and they got sued and they had to stop doing that. And so I worry about a future where somebody collects up all the information on the internet, including, content that somebody else has a license to, and then presents it as their own with no, even if they have an attribution to the author, if that is in one point type over to the side without a link, it could go the way of music, where the people who make music are having almost an impossible time of actually making money on the music they distribute. But all the distributors are making money, right? And so when you take the 100 pennies it takes or 99 pennies it takes to get a piece of music, less than a penny, a fraction of a penny goes to the artist. And so I personally, as a content creator, would not like to see that happen to information I create, because I would literally feel like I'd have to put it all behind paywalls, and that's not in the interests of my audience.
right. Well, and how do you become the authority that the OpenAI is going to reference even?
In my case, I write 20 some books.
Yeah, but how does it measure the value of your content? And how does your website get found by people if you're not in favor with the OpenAI, right? They don't know to
Right.
mention your business name, so you might not come up.
Right.
It's going to be a whole new world of how we address these things. And I actually wrote an article on which is available on LinkedIn. Just go to my LinkedIn and look for articles. And I wrote it for my MSP clients, right? Because they need to understand how this is going to affect their business and what this means for them. So I did my best to try to explain the whole Microsoft thing and where they're going to start to see these new features come in, and just put it together so that we can bring these big ideas down to small businesses. And what does it mean for me? Because
Right.
that's why we're all
Well,
here, right?
final word on this. I am finally going to go look at Bing more seriously and I'll dedicate an hour to it while I'm hanging out in the doctor's office and see if it impresses me.
I don't think you need to do that today because it's got that stupid waiting list thing, right?
Oh,
So you can get on the waiting list, and then someday in the future you will be able to do it. Right now they've got like a test thing where you could put in certain phrases and it will show you what it's going to look like after you're allowed in.
all right. Very good. Well, if they could somehow fix dating, that would be fine with me. I think that'd be a huge step in the right direction. So, final note. What's the last update on the green comet? Did you see it? We've been overcast. It's funny. It's clear and bright and sunny during the day, and then it's overcast at night, and I don't get to see any comets.
I've got the worst winter ever in Michigan, and that is defined by me as rainy and clouds. We had like 3 days of winter, and as we're recording this, it has been raining for like the last 12 hours straight. It's just clouds and rain. So no, I have not seen the comet, and I don't. If we've got till the end of the month to see it, I'm hoping the
Well,
skies may part one of these days.
this is a true story from the early 80s. When I lived in Ann Arbor, one year, the newspaper had a contest to guess how many minutes of sunshine there would be in the month of February. And they had two little clocks on the front page every single day. Number of minutes yesterday and the number of minutes for the month. And the first minute of sunshine was February 15th. So both clocks were zeros. I wish I'd have kept that newspaper because I just thought it was hilarious.
We're having another one of those years, but we don't have those years every year. We have those years when it's not cold enough to make snow. Once it snows, it's cold. The evaporation stops. There are no more clouds. It's sunny. It's bright and beautiful out, and that is not our winter this year. I don't know if I've ever been this pale in my life, but I haven't been able to go outside and have fun at all.
Well, I hope you get to get a tan soon in the beautiful weather in Michigan. Alrighty, I think that will do it for yet another SMB Community Podcast. Thank you for tuning in to the SMB Community Podcast. If you found this useful, interesting, or fun, please subscribe, share with your friends, and give us a thumbs up on your favorite social media. Please check out the show notes at smbcommunitypodcast.com and give us your feedback.